Hey there guys, welcome back to another deck profile with yours truly, Paul Reisman. Today we are taking a look at Daltin Slocum's version of the Hyde list that he piloted in our feature match the other day. So without further ado, let's just dig in.
This session brought to you by Odyssey Games for pre-orders and sealed product, CCG Prime for tons of singles and supplies, Cardo Doko for international rulers looking for product, and FoulLibrary.com for articles and wonderful deck lists. It's also brought to you by our guest lecturer patrons, Vite Ramen. Class is in session.
Alright guys, let's get into this deck list. Of course, we are running Hyde, the Solitary Assassin, and there's a couple of different ways you can start building this list, and Daltin is going to offer that and display it to us. So of course, he's also playing no more than 2 of the contract. Again, this is part of the challenge, is you don't get any more than 2 contracts. Daltin decided he was going to run 2 Pink Spider, and strangely enough, he almost never played this card. Probably because, one, he didn't see it, but he was still putting on pressure regardless, and ended up being a really good control back and forth. So Rocket Dive, probably for, you know, top level GP play, but if you only pack 1 or 2 of this, you're probably still going to have a good time. He's playing 4 Rusty as well as 4 of the Rusty's Fox, otherwise known as Cone affectionately on this channel. These cards are absolutely staple at the numbers that they're at. We think that Rusty and Cone are probably the best cards in the deck next to the Glowing Spider. Again, probably don't need 4 of this anymore. I would probably play 2 or 3 at most, seeing how other people are looking at this card, and I'm starting to understand why they're running this card so low. But that being said, this card is absolutely bonkers in that it is just so big and draws you so much advantage. This card is solid. Daltin is opting to play only 2 Ega. There were certainly times where I think he did not see this maybe enough, and he was probably thinking about that, but anywhere from 2 to 3 is probably the number that you do want to run. He's playing 2 L and 2 R Tracker. These cards, again, are just really solid in the deck to neg the board or even just boost the board. He's also playing 3 Rusty's Claw Technique. Now, the benefit of this card, even though it's a 2 cost, is that if you do just want to kind of like sit on your EX area and flip things up every once in a while and play more conservatively, this benefits that kind of play style. It also means that you can cast it for free with Rusty, so if you do end up casting Rusty, this card just ends up being free in general, so that's really helpful as well. He's actually playing 1 Entangling Web, and I think there are several times in the game that I completely forgot this card existed, and so flipping this thing up was, oh my gosh, so good. Just getting rid of all of my stuff on the board. Just a really fun, interesting board wipe card to tack into a deck like this. Next up are all the different ways in which Daltin suited up his deck instead of the way that I did my own. First of all, he ran Child of the Crimson Wind over Darkness Moonchild, and this was just to recover a target J Resonator while also filtering in for green if need be. So this is an interesting take, mostly because I think he anticipated putting Rusty onto the field, attacking next turn, and then being able to just deal out a massive amount of damage. And so I think this is what this card is meant to facilitate in that regard. But he's also playing 2 Dante Enters the Game of Gods. This is to give him more cards, to give him symbol skills and that additional +4/+4 alongside the Drain. That seems pretty good to me. He's also playing 2 Institute. I think he would probably go up to 3 as well. This is definitely our favorite card in general. He's playing 2 Girion. Instead of 4 Laureate, he's playing 2 Laureate and 2 Girion. This is an interesting card to play in this particular context, mostly because you're probably never going to actually be casting this card. Instead, you're going to be using its abilities to control the field. But if this card were to come out alongside the Crimson Wind Moonchild, oh my gosh, this thing would be absolutely terrifying. And if it ever came out, it'd just be super good. Like I said, he's playing 2 Lorites. This did seem to do pretty well for him. He's also playing 1 Fair's Spell, which definitely caught me off guard at times. So this card definitely came in clutch, and I think this is probably a good spread for him in general. he's saying he would like to play more Lumia. This card is really solid in getting around things like Eternal, but also just going back up in your life and drawing an additional card. This card is really solid for that. He's also playing 3 Dark Alice Rabbit Princess. I personally just think he likes playing the promos, but this definitely adds a little bit more card draw to his deck, which is really nice. He's playing 2 Angelic Battle Barrier. This was an interesting tech for him as well, because there were times where he was able to cast it, but I ended up just going to my turn and then just putting more stuff, like I just said, okay, I'll just set stuff in my EX zone because this doesn't stop that, and then I'll just go to your turn and say, cool, I'll just flip my stuff and do more. So this card might be more of a sideboard tech, but this is definitely certainly interesting alongside his Wind of Asgard techs. Being able to just say, like, my whole board gets barrier is certainly not a bad effect at all, especially if you're going to be looking at how Cone and Rusty interact with the board in such a way that you might want barrier on your stuff. Certainly a good tech to have. And then Daltin really loves Trishula. He's loved Trishula ever since he played Justice back in the day. This card is super fun. It gives Pierce and Eternal as long as everything on the board is a combined total stat count of 3,000, and then it just ramps you a stone, which is really helpful alongside Institute. So his stone list looks like 3 Adiractia's Memoria, 3 Secret Stone of the Cat Moon for that foreseeability. He's also playing 2 of the Amadeus Holy Crystals, whereas I only played 1. He's also playing Secret Stone of the Wanderer Moon for additional foreseeability, as well as for color correction. And then he's playing 1 Darkness Moon Fragment for the exact same reason, color correction and the foreseeability of the enter effect. So guys, let us know what you thought of Daltin's list down in the comment section down below. Were there some interesting ideas in here for you as you were looking through this list? Are there changes you would make? Are there things that you would make different in your own deck, having seen our list? Let us know down in the comment section down below. While you're down there, make sure you hit that subscribe, ring that bell, and hit that like button if you like the video. Until then, until next time, guys, this has been Paul. Catch you later.